We are currently living through the greatest heist in human history, but nobody is calling the police. It isn't your money that's being stolen, it's your time, and more specifically, your ability to focus on a single thought for more than 60 seconds. Think about the last time you sat through a 2-hour movie without checking your phone. Think about the last time you watched a 20-minute YouTube video without looking at the comments or clicking a suggested thumbnail halfway through. For a decade, YouTube was the king of the mountain. It was the platform that taught us everything, from how to fix a sink to the deep lore of our favorite films. It was the home of long-form digital content. But then, a digital virus named TikTok escaped the lab of social experimentation, and it changed the chemistry of our brains forever. Suddenly, a 10-minute video feels like a college lecture. A 5-minute vlog feels like a marathon. We have entered the era of the micro-content economy, a world where the goal isn't to inform you or entertain you, but to keep your thumb moving in a perpetual scroll. We are witnessing an asymmetrical war where YouTube, the giant that once killed TV, is now the one bleeding out. In this autopsy of the modern attention span, we're going to look at why the younger generation has abandoned the deep dive for the shallow splash. We'll look at the dopamine mechanics of the For You page and why YouTube is desperately wearing a TikTok hat just to stay relevant. The era of the passive viewer is over. The era of the addict has begun. This is why long-form content is losing the battle for our souls. To understand why TikTok is winning, you have to understand the difference between an intentional click and a passive swipe. YouTube is built on intent. You search for a video, you see a thumbnail, and you make a conscious decision to give that creator your time. There is a cost to clicking, but TikTok removed the cost. On TikTok, you don't choose anything. The algorithm chooses for you. It is a slot machine where every swipe is a pull of the lever. Sometimes it's a bad video, sometimes it's mediocre, but every few swipes, you hit the jackpot. A video perfectly tuned to your sense of humor or your secret interests. This is called intermittent reinforcement, and it is the same psychological trick used by casinos to keep people in front of machines for 18 hours straight. The younger generation isn't lazy. They are physiologically optimized for high-frequency rewards. When you watch a 15-minute YouTube video, the reward, the point of the video, usually comes at the end. That's a long time to wait for a dopamine hit. On TikTok, you get 3 rewards per minute. By the time a YouTube creator has finished their intro, a TikTok user has already laughed, learned a life hack, and seen a dance trend. We are training our brains to reject any content that requires a warm-up period. This has created a content arms race, where if you don't hook the viewer in the first 1.5 seconds, you are effectively invisible. The real tragedy of the micro-content economy isn't just the length of the video, it's the systematic death of context and the deliberate destruction of critical thought. Long-form content allows for nuance. It provides the breathing room for a creator to say, "This is true, but here is why it's complicated." Micro-content doesn't have time for complicated. In so many seconds, everything must be a binary, a black or white, heaven or hell choice. Everything is either the best life hack ever or the worst disaster in history. There is no middle ground, because the middle ground requires a second of reflection, and reflection is the enemy of the scroll. This has led to the rise of a bizarre phenomenon known as exploitation storytelling, or sludge content. You've seen it. A split-screen video where the bottom half is someone mindlessly cutting soap, playing a colorful mobile game, or a repetitive ASMR clip, while the top half, or the voiceover, is recounting a horrific true crime story or a deep geopolitical crisis. This isn't an accident. It is a calculated strike on your biology. The creators know that the visual candy keeps your primitive lizard brain occupied so you don't swipe away, while the audio shocks your prefrontal cortex to keep you listening. It is total sensory saturation, designed to bypass your filters. We are consuming information at a rate that makes it impossible to actually process it. You can watch 50 TikToks in an hour and feel like you've learned the secrets of the universe. But try to explain one of them to a friend 10 minutes later. You can't. The memory never moved from your short-term buffer to your long-term storage because the next video bumped it out before it could settle. YouTube is fighting back with shorts, but they are playing a dangerous game of Russian roulette with their own legacy. By encouraging their own veteran users to watch 60-second clips, they are effectively cannibalizing their own ecosystem. They are teaching their audience to stop valuing the very thing that made YouTube the greatest library in history: the deep, personal connection between a creator and a fan that only happens over hours of shared time. This loss of connection means creators are no longer mentors, experts, or friends. They are just disposable entertainment units in an endless, faceless feed. Furthermore, we must address the context collapse that happens when complex ideas are put into a blender. When you watch a 20-minute video on the history of an empire, you understand the why and the how. When you watch a 60-second clip about it, you only get the what, usually the most shocking or violent part. This creates a generation of people who are highly informed but deeply ignorant. They have all the headlines, but none of the articles. They have all the data points, but no map to connect them. This is the goal of the algorithm. A confused mind is easier to keep engaged. If you are constantly being shocked, outraged, or surprised, you never have the chance to be satisfied. And if you are never satisfied, you never stop scrolling. It is a digital hunger that can never be filled. This is why the younger generation feels more anxious than ever before. They are being force-fed the world's problems in 15-second doses without any of the solutions or context that long-form storytelling provides. We are witnessing the industrialization of the human attention span, where our focus is the raw material being mined, refined, and sold to the highest bidder. Now let's pull back the curtain on the money, because that's where the hats truly change and the corporate warfare gets bloody. For a creator, YouTube was once a prestigious career path, a digital version of the Hollywood dream. If you could build a loyal community and get 1 million people to watch a 20-minute video, you could make a high six-figure living through AdSense and deep integrated sponsorships. You were a business owner, a brand, an institution, but the micro-content economy is built on burn rate and volume. On TikTok, 1 million views might buy you a cup of coffee and a sandwich. The payout is a fraction of what YouTube offers, which creates a frantic, high-pressure digital sweatshop. Creators can no longer afford to spend 3 weeks researching a deep dive essay. They have to post 3 times a day, every day, or the algorithm treats them like they've died. It's a race to the bottom, where the gold rush is over, and the survival era has begun. This creates a content treadmill that eventually breaks the spirit of even the most talented artists. They stop making what they love and start making what the machine demands. Furthermore, the younger generation has been conditioned to have zero brand loyalty. They don't care about who made the video. They care about what the video is doing for them right this second. On YouTube, you subscribe to a human being with a personality, a history, and a set of values. On TikTok, you subscribe to a vibe or a feed. This makes the individual creator completely expendable. If your favorite long-form YouTuber stops posting for a month, you feel a void in your routine. You wonder if they are okay. If a TikToker stops posting, the algorithm, which is the most efficient replacement engine ever built, simply slides in someone who looks, sounds, and acts exactly like them within seconds. You don't even notice they're gone because the slot machine just keeps spinning. This is the ultimate victory for the platforms. They have successfully turned human creativity into a raw commodity, no different from electricity, coal, or water. It's always there, it's always cheap, and it doesn't matter where it comes from, as long as the faucet is running. The creator has been demoted from an artist or an educator to a mere data point in a machine that values the clip over the craft. We are seeing the death of the auteur and the birth of the content farmer. So we have to ask ourselves the uncomfortable question: is long-form content actually dead? Or is it just becoming a prestige luxury for the intellectual elite? Much like vinyl records survived the age of Spotify, or how hardcover books survived the Kindle, long-form video is becoming the fine dining of the internet. The masses have moved to the 24-hour fast food buffet of micro-content, leaving deep dives to become a niche product. But the real danger isn't just the death of a video format, it's the atrophy of the human soul. As the younger generation grows up in this environment, their attention muscles are being systematically weakened. If your brain is wired to expect a reward every 15 seconds, how can you ever expect to read a 400-page book? How can you sit through a difficult 3-hour board meeting? How can you have a deep, complex conversation with a partner about your relationship without reaching for the hit of dopamine in your pocket? The ability to focus is the foundation of all human achievement. Without it, we cannot innovate, we cannot empathize, and we cannot lead. We are moving toward a world of passive consumption, where we don't actually watch videos. We let them wash over us like digital waves until we drown in them. We are no longer the masters of our own curiosity. We are the subjects of an AI's curiosity about us. YouTube is trying to survive by wearing a TikTok hat, and TikTok is desperately trying to gain prestige by allowing 10-minute videos and wearing a YouTube hat. They are both terrified of the same thing. The moment we wake up and realize that the content we've been consuming has zero nutritional value for our minds, they are both fighting for the same thing, your autonomy. They want to be the ones who decide what you think about when you close your eyes at night. In the end, the winner won't be the platform with the most advanced AI or the flashiest interface. It will be the one that manages to keep us from realizing just how much of our finite, beautiful lives we are throwing away, one mindless swipe at a time. The question isn't whether you have the capacity to watch a 15-minute video anymore. The question is whether you still have the strength to choose what you watch, or if you've already handed the steering wheel of your life over to a line of code. The battle for your attention is over. Now, the battle for your soul has begun.